So based on inferences made in the past, it is possible that humans can communicate with animals through technology, in essence, in the future, find out how that can potentially improve the world. Stay till the end to find out how that could potentially improve the world. Yeah, welcome to the news. Welcome to the news. Welcome to the news. So in essence, what we've got today for you is the ability to try to connect trading in the essence of trading and try to find value in life, in trying to use spiritual finance so that in essence you can communicate with life and walk around in life too, so that in essence you can combine goals and ambitions with a minimum profit. A minimum profit, meaning that in essence, similar to trading, like if you're trading in the Forex markets, for example, there's something called a stop loss, a trailing stop loss, for example. So if you start to make a trade, in essence, and your trade starts to go well, that if it's going north and you're making money, for example, if you're profiting by chasing a better position, a better trade, a better profit system, or better outcome, that in essence, you have something called the trailing stop loss. So if you start to profit, that you can activate the trailing stop loss, and that therefore ultimately develops a certain level of a minimum profit to generate itself based upon a trailing stop loss tool function mechanism in the essence of trading in the foreign exchange markets, for example. So in essence, what we want to do today is talk about how to conceptually leverage that concept so that Ding Tech Change for Games, the essence of this company, Ding Tech Change for Games, our organization, our company, our intention, our future entity, Ding Tech Change for Games, is trying to leverage this by having something at least in place, because in essence we've got something, we're hoping to have something at least happen, at least in place, in essence, because we've been putting in efforts over time and energy and different ways to try to make these kind of podcasts, for example, which are spiritual finance value sort of episodes on a day-to-day basis. And so from this, we don't know if we'll ever be able to hit our ambition necessarily of trying to change the whole world necessarily by leveraging the ability to implement fundamental game-changing games in the whole world, a spectrum of connecting with every single 8 billion humans in the world, to be able to make businesses all be played as games and everybody in the world to be able to play like children again in the future. So in essence, we want a trailing stop-loss mentality mindset, and also at the same time on a day-to-day, on a short-term, day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, to have the ability to take profits in developing goals. So at the same time, it's like a dual mindset has to be born, in essence. It's something I've called a carrot and a stick in the past. It's something somebody else mentioned in a video a long time ago, but a billionaire that Simon Squibb interviewed, in essence. So the carrot just means your goals, basically. The carrot is something that you're chasing. It's like at the top of it has you looking up. It's like having a fishing pole tied to your back with a carrot attached to it, and you're running after the carrot, in essence, but you're always looking up at the carrot with the fishing pole attached to it, which is up in the air above you, in essence. So at the same time, you want to correspond that to the carrot analogy, where you have your goals that you're always chasing, and you're always looking up at those goals, in essence. So you're always climbing a hill, going upwards, trying to chase those inspirations, those goals. But at the same time, when you're doing that, it's not even necessarily realized that you're climbing. So you're climbing, but at the same time, the other thing, which is like the minimum viable action that you're taking, is the stick. It's called a stick because it's like a stick that's slapping you in your back to be able to make a minimum amount of movement. So you have your minimum goals or your minimum clearance items, which you're obligated to hit those minimum clearance items. Like for me, these days, it's a podcast every single day for Ding Tech Change for Games to try to grow the dynamic and brand. Even though I don't share it, even though I don't distribute this content for right now, it's like trying to develop momentum. Hopefully it can catch on to something else is the ambition. And so nonetheless, that is for today. The stick is just this podcast day to day for now, or at least it has been in the past, is that's slapping me on the back, is every day I have to get up and make this podcast, basically, more or less. So that's the stick. But what we're trying to do is like to enhance the value of the stick is to have a better minimum by being able to track the trailing stop loss. The trailing stop loss is this methodology and this mentality where it's like a separate mindset, because in essence you have the carrot, and again there's the stick. Basically there's the stick, which has me doing these minimum podcasts basically, but the trailing stop loss is something in between. It's something in between the stick where you have to try to be wary that there is a trailing stop loss that you can be aware of, and so you can keep this trailing stop loss in mind basically as you're chasing different ambitions, different goals, because you're actually moving yourself as you're chasing different ambitions, different goals, and then therefore you're in a different place than you were when you started necessarily. You still have the stick slapping you in the back, like whether it's a day-to-day day job or other items that are necessary to do every single day. Those are the sticks. Those are the sticks in life. But the trailing stop loss is a different mentality where you're trying to not get nothing from chasing your carrot dreams, from chasing your carrot goals, your carrot ambitions, your carrot interests, which correspond to a package of different items and things that you need to do to cause the effect of reaching your carrot goals, basically, of reaching the carrot, grabbing the carrot in essence. And so by doing that, by being conscious of not ending up with nothing in between, the stick is again the minimum that you have to do. It's slapping you in the back. It's the minimum, but something in between the stick and the carrot is the trailing stop loss, basically. And so what you can do is be conscious that the trailing stop loss exists. So you can try to hit and hold on to and own that trailing stop loss as time passes and as you're chasing the carrot. As you take different actions to take the carrot, you are making profit towards your goals. You're making a profit towards stepping up in the direction of the carrot. And when you're conscious of it, there is a trailing stop loss that you can be wary of to take personal goal profit, personal benefit, improvement, enhancement as a person by being aware to begin with that this trailing stop loss is an option that you can apply to your trades of your time for your goals, of chasing your goals on a day-to-day basis. And being aware of that increases your status because you have to be aware of it to be able to take this benefit with you in your mental sense, in your mental asset sense. It's just like having a tax incentive. Like you're going to pay taxes necessarily on income and on profit. But if you're aware of tax loopholes, if you're aware of tax incentives, if you're aware of ways to not pay taxes because you're legally aware of processes that allow you to do that, that's almost like a trailing stop loss to a certain extent because you've made a lot of money, but then the trailing stop loss is you also are getting to keep more and you're making more because that trailing stop loss allows you to know that you're only paying a certain minimum amount of taxes. It's just sort of an analogy alignment because it allows you to get more profit in life. It's somewhat like, cutting through the taxes basically in life. More or less, because you're taxed by not thinking that you're getting anything. You think if you chase goals that you get nothing from it necessarily, but if you're weary of looking for the trailing stop loss to begin with, that basically you can apply that to all of the things that you're getting while you're chasing your goals by looking for the residuals and the minimum residuals of the residuals for chasing your asset goals and looking for the residuals of the ways that you benefited from chasing those goals in essence and pocketing those benefits by knowing that they're there to begin with and keeping track of those so that the next time that you push off, similar to investing after you saved a bunch of taxes, that you start that much higher because your asset energy is that much higher because you know that you took that trailing stop loss and you've pocketed those winnings and those earnings that are above where the stick is at. So your earnings, your spiritual finance winnings, your spiritual finance mentality, your spiritual finance manifestation is that much closer to your goals. And as you continue to advance and stand higher on your goals towards chasing the carrot, basically goals of chasing the carrot, then you can also compound the collaboration with yourself in the future to develop more compound interest and compound growth on top of where you've ended up from past interest that's growth and grown based upon that trailing stop loss profit into your overall portfolio of asset energy into yourself as you continue to chase your goals and grow yourself in a quantum instance and a quantum effect of trying to leverage the greatest potential outcome and the greatest potential process leading to the best possible outcome at any given time in the shortest amount of time as well as possible. So this in essence just corresponds to spiritual finance and the essence of aggregating mental assets to be able to continue to grow an internal self and an internal gratitude and an internal appreciation for taking chances and trying to pursue different goals because of knowing that it's not nothing that you're gaining and not nothing is something that is a metric that is to be chased in essence by chasing the trailing stop loss as a metric, almost as a incentivizer for a fun-having process when you know there's a trailing stop loss to pursue any given or certain given goals per se necessarily. And one of our specifically for a company ambitions and interests to try to pursue this process of a trailing stop loss is by trying to make other people money, basically. Because Dink Tech, me as a person who's trying to focus on running this sort of brand or company or organization that I continue to call it, am not incentivized by money. I'm not incentivized by trying to do anything necessarily for money per se, but the incentive that I think I'm trying to get at by giving an example at the end of this podcast, more or less, or towards the end of it, is trying to make other people money, trying to develop collaborations around making other people money. So in essence, that's what the gift is for me. That's kind of what the carrot, or the trailing stop loss is for me. The carrot is trying to change the world, but if I can make other people a lot of money along the way and then also add value to the company of Ding Tech Change for Game Studios by making money that way, then that's a brand enhancer, that's a process enhancer, that's a status enhancer. So we're standing that much higher in terms of furthering our goals and our monetary, hopefully eventually goals to be able to grow in a monetary sense, but by using the methodology of growing monetary energy for other people and just getting to stand on the residual side of any of that energy that can come through. And that's something that I've heard a long time ago is the artist network process. And the artist network process has to do with just trying to continue to remind the self to continue to pursue artists, to be able to try to develop different art for them and use that as an incentives to continue to reach out to them at the same time in the short and long term, in the vlog sense, vlogging in an in-person sense, in an interviewing sense, and in the internet sense, to be continued to be incentivized to continue to reach out to people, And by the way, I also started the podcast talking about how animals can connect to humans, and I would like to say that I hope that animals are able to connect to humans through something like such as NeuraLink, for example. Through NeuraLink, that we're able to talk to animals, we're able to talk to our animals, and that therefore allows us to be able to clear the animal shelters in the future, because that incentivization to become that much closer together with animals, in essence, and especially shelter animals, because animal shelters are businesses these days. So in essence, if we're able to draw out the value of animal energy and how their connection and ability to be loyal to humans, in essence, can come through the actual ability to be able to connect hand to hand through direct connection through wires, in essence, through direct telepathy communication, through devices such as NeuraLink in the future, that hopefully can add value to clearing all the animal shelters, in essence, so that we, in essence, are able to better communicate with animals being able to guide us with spirituality in a certain respect of spiritual finance, and in a certain respect of spiritual mental assets, and their contribution to us as a connection and a kinship between humans and animals, in essence. So that is just a fundamental way that animal connection, through their ability to connect with technology, and NeuraLinks, for example, have the ability to help change the world, so we're able to merge with humans and animals to be able to get the guidance fundamentally from them to ultimately also pursue our businesses and our business goals at the same time. And then therefore our carrot and our stick dreams and methodologies and mentalities to then also be able to achieve a greater and higher stop loss potential by having fundamental animals as partners based on NeuraLink, and actually being able to connect and talk to our animal friends, in essence, based upon having that greater, better fundamental essence of telepathy take place if those NeuraLink items are meant to become more prevalent in the near or longer term future per se. And animals are also medical tools. Animals are also medical and therapeutic tools, which are not used wide enough as therapeutic tools, in essence. So hopefully this can help come full circle for all of these conceptual items of thought within this podcast. But that's all for now. Thanks. Ding Tech. Bye. Ding Tech Change for Games. Bye. Peace. Bye. Ding Tech Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.